My wealthy father stood in the courthouse hallway laughing at my Goodwill blazer, bragging to everyone that I brought a plastic knife to a gunfight. He thought my pro se lawsuit was a joke because I poured coffee at Starbucks. He stopped laughing when I dropped a 4-inch red binder on the judge's bench and sent him straight to federal prison. 6 months earlier, I was sitting in a quiet hospital room holding my mother's hand as she took her last breath. Dad didn't show up. He said he was too busy closing a real estate deal. At 2:15 p.m., my hand was shaking so badly I could barely sign her death certificate. I didn't know it yet, but exactly 23 miles away, my father was signing something too. He was forging my name. After the funeral, my grandmother mentioned a $65,000 trust my mom kept secretly in my name. I went to the bank. The banker checked his screen and went pale. The account was completely emptied, transferred directly to my father's corporate holdings. The signature was dated August 12th at exactly 2:15 p.m., the exact minute my mother died. I called him immediately. I consolidated estate assets, he scoffed. You work at Starbucks, for God's sake. You think you earned any of this? He hung up. I started digging. He had secretly opened 17 credit cards in my name, Ritz-Carlton stays, Vegas casinos. He completely trashed my credit score to 420. I took my evidence to a top-tier lawyer. He looked at the paperwork and smiled. Your father is arrogant. You don't need to pay me a $50,000 retainer. Just put this in a binder and let him hang himself. The hearing was in November. I sat alone at the plaintiff's table. My father and his expensive lawyer smirked. The judge asked if I had actual, admissible evidence. My father leaned over to his lawyer. He has a diary, he whispered loudly enough for the gallery to hear. He's going to read a poem. People chuckled. I reached into my bag. I pulled out the heavy red binder. I lifted it high. I let it slam onto the judge's wooden bench. Thud. The courtroom went dead silent. Tab 1, Your Honor. My voice didn't shake. She flipped the page. I watched her read the bank transfer. I handed her the death certificate. At 2:15 p.m., I was signing this. My father was signing that. The judge looked up. Her eyes narrowed. Tab 2. I continued. I presented the maxed out credit cards and my Starbucks time cards. I was working double shifts while he swiped my name at Caesar's Palace. My father's smirk vanished. His face turned a blotchy, sickening red. I put a roof over his head, he sputtered. The judge slammed her gavel. Sit down. Tab 5, I said. The smoking gun. It was a photocopy of a deed transfer. He had stolen the house my mother left me in her will. But he made a fatal mistake. He left a handwritten sticky note in the margin before copying it. The judge leaned in close. She read his handwriting out loud to the entire room. Forged Michael's signature. He's too stupid to check the registry. He trusts family. The silence was suffocating. His expensive lawyer physically slid his leather chair away. Your Honor, the lawyer stammered out. I need to withdraw as counsel. The judge ignored him. She locked her icy glare on my father and signed the orders right there. All debts cleared. House title restored. $240,000 in restitution. Then she looked directly at the bailiff. Escort him to holding. I'm referring this to the state's attorney. 2 armed deputies stepped up behind him. He looked completely panicked. Michael, please, he whimpered. I'm your dad. Family sticks together. I didn't blink. I didn't step back. I just watched. The deputies grabbed his arms. They pulled them forcefully behind his back. Click, click. The heavy metal handcuffs locked. The sound echoed perfectly off the courtroom walls. He got 6 years in federal prison. His massive empire collapsed. I moved back into my mother's house and planted a garden in the backyard. He laughed because I poured coffee and wore a cheap blazer. But as they dragged him away, I realized the absolute truth. He was the poorest man in the room. All he had was money.